from the Landway Group, and they're going to be talking to us on sustainability and climate change in a post-COVID world. They want to show us how they are realizing ESG targets in Nigeria's real estate market, and then from there we'll be coming back, and I'll be having a Q&A session with their Chief Operations Officer, Sean Tayo. So we could cue the presentation now, and then we'll come back right after that.
Good morning and welcome to our listeners near and far. Today I'll be talking about sustainability and climate change in the post-COVID world and how ESG targets may be realized in the West African property market. In the last 24 hours, we've heard about the many ways in which the property market has been redefined in West Africa. The health and performance of the property markets are important as they give us a clue into how a country will fare economically. To take the temperature of a country, we simply need to take a look at the nation's real estate. The main trend of 21st century has been on learning and relearning new things. We've gone from decolonization to decarbonization and everything in between. But even as we've undergone the process of unlearning new things, we have also taken on the duties and responsibilities of learning new things. Things such as measuring the environmental impact of our daily operations, or carefully putting together business sustainability and continuity plans, with an eye on how this would impact the environment around us. In short, in summary, we have become more conscious and aware of how what we do affects the only planet that we currently live on, at least for now. Environmental impact analysis for business is not new to some, but it has certainly become more prevalent over the last 3 decades. Alarm bells have been sounding louder and louder regarding the planet's march towards climate catastrophe. Financial damages relating to climate changes are predicted to reach $54 trillion by 2040 if we do not take drastic changes soon, and by soon we mean now. Such specifics indicate that operations within our industry needs to be adjusted and account for the changing times. The pandemic, for example, showed us the disadvantages of maintaining a fossilized stand in the face of the world-changing events. This sounds quite grim and intense, but that's the way it is. Fortunately, we real estate professionals tend to have a positive outlook on life. That optimism includes hope of doing our level best to mitigate climate change as much as possible. We are specifically eager to put our best foot forward because we know that 40% of the global emissions come from the construction operations in our industry. That kind of statistics can make one feel rather burdened with responsibility. Environmental, social, and governance initiatives, also known as ESG, are as topical in real estate as they are in other sectors of the economy. In our industry, ESG initiatives tend to focus on green buildings, that is, constructions intentionally designed to minimize negative environmental impacts while increasing positive ones. It goes without saying that the pandemic has intensified the focus on ESG practices. Decarbonization is not the only goal at the forefront of sustainability changes. The onset of the COVID-19 forced us to reconsider specific ways in which the ill effects of the virus could be combated. With all the lockdown, people were spending significant amounts of time indoors. This taught us many lessons about building designs, lessons that are likely to stay with us once the pandemic comes to a full and complete end. Though we know what our duty is when it comes to sustainability development goals, the same cannot be said for everyone. A distinct lack of knowledge still pervades the industry, especially when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions. Ignorance is a major hindrance to the successful implementation of climate change policies in the West African region. Now, this doesn't mean that nothing is getting done. There are people and organizations that are quite knowledgeable and productive in this arena. I will touch on those in the governance portion of this presentation. But as always, we can do more. Particularly relevant for the real estate industry is the S in the ESG, the social initiatives. A regional trend that is quite encouraging is a focus on the development of projects at a neighborhood scale. The creation of shared communities of feeling, living, and working are changing the mood and atmosphere of the local areas around us. For instance, the Landway Urban Prime projects at Ogombo. Live, work, play environments are also in popular demand. Nigeria is particularly privileged to have a young, vibrant, and energetic, technology-driven demographics. A semi-wellness city and Hockley Ecoflex Villa are designed to cater to such demographics. Additionally, social goods real estate provides in this respect an increased investment value. And by encouraging investors to put their funds behind causes that deal with social issues, we can make a significant difference. Thank you for listening in on this session.